Hello! Hello, hello! I think I've had my mom teach me how to knit like twice now. Keep forgetting because I don't practice. So today I am working in partnership with Wool and the Gang. I am going to be making this scarf, a beginner scarf. But also today I'm thrift transforming this piece. So technically this is a double DIY video. So I hope you guys enjoy. Starting with these classic football shoulder pads. Luckily this top had them as Velcro attachments. I started by removing the buttons. This is a batwing top, which means the sleeves are cut as one with the top. I removed the interfacing inside the center front of the top by detaching at the neck and then cutting from the buttonhole down the center of the left and right side of the top. I folded the collar in to form V-necks, then marked the point where they would meet, then stitched the new neckline close to the folded edge. I planned to make the skirt high-waisted, and to lengthen the legs decided to crop the top. I cut off about 5.5 inches off the hem and separated the bottom hem. That was set aside as the lace for gathering. Press 1/2 inch down both sides of the cut strip. I'll be using the strip to finish the cropped hem. It looks a bit more intentional that way than just rolling over and hemming the raw edge. Fold the hem into the strip, matching the previous seams, and sew. Turn the top inside out, match and pin the center seam. Make sure the V-neck and hem are matching exactly before stitching them down. I allowed for about 2 inches seam allowance. With that big of a seam allowance, I used that from the new center seam as casing for my tie. I'm using the cut strip from the bottom of the hem as my new lacing, so I stitched midpoint of the tie to the V-neck first. Since I don't have enough fabric to create a full casing, I'm mimicking it by stitching past it, being careful not to stitch the tie with the casing. And by stitching the tie into the V-neck, I can anchor it when I'm gathering it and tying it after. After finishing the top, I decided to take a break and start knitting the scarf. Wool and the Gang is changing the crafting game. I chose the color earthy orange for the scarf, and with assistance of the project booklet and their tutorials online, I was able to get right into it. Knitting is so much more forgiving than sewing. Unlike sewing, sometimes you can just go back if you make a mistake. I took the scarf to camp and it was so meditative to just knit and knit and knit. I like to call it being passively productive. For the skirt, it was cut like a circle skirt, so I first detached the waistband and set aside for later. I cut a front and back piece from the skirt. The skirt only had one seam since it was a circle, so I separated it to front and back instead. I flared the bottom for a slight trumpet pencil skirt. Since there isn't going to be a slit, I wanted to make sure I had room to move. Taking a zipper, I stitched it to the right side of the skirt and then zigzag stitched both sides of the skirt down. It was so scary to sew a zipper. It's been forever. I tried to avoid it by maybe making it a wrap skirt, but for a high-waisted pencil fit, I had to do it. From the original waistband, I shortened it to match the new width of the skirt. Mine had a section that was a bit stretchy, so I separated it into sections like so. It means that it won't be a seamless waistband. I left a little bit extending past the waist because that was going to be my buttonhole closure. Then stitched together the new waistband before attaching the right sides to the skirt and then sewing that down. With the extended tabs, I just used the previous buttonhole as the new buttonhole and then hand sewed one of the buttons that I cut off back onto the waistband. And here is the finished look. It also goes so well with the orange of the scarf, which turned out maybe a little long because I may have miscalculated the stitches, but I still love it. To see more projects that Wool and the Gang is offering, you can subscribe to their YouTube channel linked in the description. I hope crafting stays alive and thriving, so please check out the countless projects Wool and the Gang has to offer. You can use my discount code Letitia15 for 15% off your order. Happy DIYing!